Ian, eBay came out with an article. We missed it. I think it was earlier. They basically like the upcoming holiday wish list guide. You want to say that? And so eBay's pushing that the N64 is going to be a big seller this holiday season because year over year there was a 205% increase on N64 consoles between last year and this year. And doing the pat math, that's a 4 times amount of sales over the past year. So 4 times increase. So that's not something to sniff at when you see that happen within 1 year. And so when you look at the N64, which came out 96 in North America, we are 23 years in. So when you think about the people that are wanting an N64 now, yeah, they're probably, when they were kids, they're like 30 now.
Yeah.
Or younger if they had it, say, in the year 2000 or 99, you know. So they're in like their mid to late 20s or 30 or early 30s. So that's a proper sort of time frame, you know, to get back into it.
So I mean, just from what I see at the store, the N64 has always been popular, particularly around Christmas. I think I would say personally for us, maybe last year and this year, yeah, and the year before have all been big years for N64. 3 years ago, we went into December with I think a combined total of 50. It was like 53 N64 systems. They were all gone in 2 weeks.
2016.
I think that was about 2016.
20 years later. Whoa.
So I'm not surprised. The timing is a little bit different than I would have put it. I probably would have. I would have expected to see this about 2-3 years ago. But yeah, around Christmas, people want things that reconnect them with their childhood. If you grew up playing an N64, that's something that you're going to have a strong feeling towards. That's obviously going to be a hot holiday gift. It's going to be a big seller. We can't keep them in stock. N64s are something that universally have pretty much been popular since I started working at Luna. But really in the past 5 years, we had none of them at either location over Black Friday weekend. Within 2 hours of opening on Friday.
Oh wow!
We only had a couple, but at both stores, but we were completely out of N64s.
I wonder if the swap meet, if those are worth more than a regular NES and Super Nintendo. I'd be curious to see what people are charging for them.
Well, because
last I went to the swap meet, I was surprised. I saw like complete Super Nintendo for only like $40 with all the hookups by like a seller that knew it. I was like surprised that it was that cheap.
It's interesting to me for me to read this because, like I say, I saw the Spike 2-3 years ago.
Not your Spike.
Not Cat Spike.
Not Evil Spike.
They say they're seeing it this year. Meanwhile, and I can't keep them in stock at Luna for $70. Meanwhile, my friend Eric is telling me that in Arizona, they will sit around at pawn shops and they can't sell for like $40.
Huh.
So it to me, it's interesting just to see, like, you know, I think it's, you know, largely because of the holiday season they're seeing the increase, but it's interesting to see how these things can be popular in one state, not popular in another state, popular 3 years prior, and now very popular online. It's weird for me to see it. I don't know.
Well, I'm not sure where in Arizona you're talking about. We're in a big city, so maybe it's a population thing as well.
Sure,
maybe.
It could be.
Yeah, they put out like a PDF sort of like wish list thing the same way. I didn't talk about this during our heated Toys R Us discussion, but I got the Amazon Play Together little like holiday guide, which is basically like
pathetic.
It's basically like, you know, you got the Sears, you just get the Sears toy catalog. This is basically the Amazon toy catalog, and so there's like one page on like Nintendo Switch, but the eBay one, they put out a PDF and they have Switch next to N64 as like the holiday sellers, because obviously there's used stuff on eBay. I just think it's interesting that this is our reality now. This was in the mail. They're sending this out to people to shop on eBay with a catalog with the same sort of, like, you know, they have a little key in the bottom with the letters that lining up. You know, it's the same thing. This is why Toys R Us is only in a mall, partially. You know, Amazon, but okay. I just think it's interesting. They're selling 2 a minute, both Switches and N64s on eBay. That was in September. 2 a minute they were selling. Jeez. That was from the press release there. The guy suggests that Nintendo 64 could be a unique gift pick for nostalgic millennials, which actually presents a potential valid reason for its success on the site. Those who had an N64, are you millennial if you grew up with the N64? Those who had late millennial. Those who had an Nintendo 64 as their first console will likely now be working full time and dealing with adult life. Potentially spending their hard-earned cash on reliving childhood memories. Yep. This very writer actually ended up buying 2 N64 consoles this year for that very reason from this Nintendo Life article. I think that's cute. That's interesting. But that's where we're at. That's where we were at like 10 years ago. Remember, most people, the amount of time between when the Nintendo was popular, the NES was popular, and the N64 was only like 6 to 7 years. It wasn't a huge amount of time in between when the NES was on top of the world and the release of the N64. Not a huge amount of time.
I always have to check this, but millennial is between 81 and 96.
Okay, so
yes, if you grew up playing an N64,
yeah, you're the last millennials.
Yeah,
I always see millennials either being, because I'm born in '80, so I'm either the last of Gen X or the earliest millennial. I've seen both. I've seen 81, 82, or 80. It's like I'm in there, basically. I'm on the cutting edge. Ian's a millennial for sure, though. There. All right, that's interesting. So yeah, well, I guess I got to go through. Actually, I think I sold most of my extra N64s over the years with my DVD Kickstarters and things like that. I don't think I have a lot of spares left. I probably have like 3 or 4, but I have like the different color. I have the green one, I have the aqua one, things like that. I sold my Pokemon Complete in Box one at SoCal a few years ago. All right, moving on.